Okay, so it's 12:15, and we would like to invite panel 3. So panel 3, we are talking about water sommelier, the presentation of the profession, water cocktails, and the possibilities of gastronomy. Water and gastronomy? We're going to be discussing this at Bled, and I would like to welcome Neul Kim, water sommelier from South Korea, who has taken over 28 hours to join us here today. Boštjan Jelovčan, water sommelier from Slovenia. Okay. And also live from the UK, we have Doran Binder, Crag Water, which is the first water bar in the United Kingdom. So welcome, guests. Welcome, Doran. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at Bled. Maybe we will start at Doran, as he's on the big screen, and I must say that's a beautiful beard you have. So, if Doran, if you could please provide introductions. I believe you may be on mute.
Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. No?
Yep.
Yeah, have you got me? Fantastic. My name's Doran Binder. I founded Crag Water. I am known as the bearded water sommelier on TikTok, and I'm bringing water to the masses. That's me.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction.
Hello, everyone. My name is Neul Kim from South Korea. Yeah.
I'm Boštjan Jelovčan. I come from Tunice, Slovenia.
Fantastic, gents. Okay, so if you would like to start in regards to the definition of a water sommelier, we understand it for wine, but for water, please give our audience that insight.
Okay, let you know about the definition of water sommelier. Water sommelier is new profession from it existed since 21st century. It just 20 years history. So the water sommelier derived from sommelier. You know, sommelier recommend and sell wines with food in the restaurant. As same as water sommelier recommend and sell water with food in restaurant classically. But I told you 21st century exists, this profession exists. So now is the smart generation. We can buy waters in restaurant, cafe, also an online website. We can buy anywhere. We can buy water anywhere with our mobile. So, so many information in website. So we don't know about water. But we drink water every day, but we don't know about drinking water. Where? So we don't know. Generally, we don't know. We don't know that information is true or not. So, water experts are needed in on website also. So, water sommelier, the roles is growing, expanded. So, recently, the definition of water sommelier is expanded. Yeah. So the water sommelier recommend and sell waters everywhere. Okay.
Thank you for that introduction.
Yes.
The word that you used, expanded, is definitely something that is occurring, and that reference to a sommelier of wine, I think it's taken it to another level. And Boštjan, if you could allow the audience to understand your water sommelier position in tourism and health, and that influence that you are providing to the guests that come to Slovenia.
Yes. Well, our family owns a natural health resort, so it's like for more than 20 years. So lots of people from all over the Europe and also all over the world are coming to us. And like I said, 20 years ago, we also found the spring on our property there. And people start to drink it now, no? And then they give us very good feedback that they feel much better. Someone actually wash the eyes, they have some problems and they disappear and so on. Then we start to think, what is that water? And we make analysis and figure out that all those minerals, it contains like 75 minerals, and all those minerals are in the same like ratio or composition like our blood has. So when we make also researches on different institutes, and the athletes drink that water every 2 hours, 2 deciliter, and they figure out that their energy field improves significantly, you know, like a natural boost of the energy. So we decide to make officially bottle plant. We make all those papers. So it took us around 4 years. Yeah, it's quite a procedure, but we finally made it. And from that on, we are also selling water on the stores and also different countries in Europe. Also now we start to Dubai. And about the tourists, you say, yes, we also have a glam resort, and people are coming to our place, and we advise them. Then we, based on their health, then we advised regarding water, what kind of water they should drink and how much, and to improve or like on natural way the health.
That's absolutely fantastic, and it definitely carries on with Hanno's comment of it expanding. So yeah, taking water tourism, inviting guests to Slovenia to understand waters and allowing them to find their health and well-being element with water is a very special thing that you're doing as a water sommelier. So I believe Slovenia should be very proud of the activities that you are doing and putting a water sommelier on the map. So over to you, Doran. Could you please just give a brief introduction of yourself, Crag Water, and the water menu and the water bar that you have created in the UK?
Okay, right. I can waffle for hours, so just wave when you've had enough. The whole thing started by accident for me. I didn't know what a water sommelier was. I thought water was water. And in 2018, I discovered that we were sat on an amazing water source at the Crag Inn. And that was the beginning of my journey. So I came into this knowing nothing about water in 2018. And the last 4 years have just been the most fascinating 4 years of my life, understanding the basics of liquid life. I don't call it water anymore, really. It's liquid life. We depend on it like no other liquid on the planet. And I think everybody should be aware, and people are fascinated by what's going on here. So I started Crag Spring Water by accident. That's a whole different story in itself. But then that has led to quite a bit of media interest. And that then led to me wanting to understand as much as I could about water, and the water sommelier route seemed like a good idea. That's then led to me opening the water bar, which is the first water bar in the UK, I believe. And I get people coming in every day, and we get 2 types of customers. We get people who are out walking in the national park, and they have no idea that we're a water bar, and they think it's a bit of a joke, and they think it's very funny. And they're my favorite people to deal with. And then I get people that understand about water, and they're here for a tasting, and they want to, and they're aware. But the people that are not aware are, if not more surprised and more fascinated by what's going on in the world of water than the people that are aware, from my experience. And I'm probably doing, I don't know, 5 to 10 tastings a day. None of them are booked. It's just walk-in customers, people who aren't, who are just fascinated by the topic. And every single person I've spoken to since I've been doing this is bowled away by it, and it's absolutely fascinating.
Thank you for your contribution. So, a water sommelier, in regards to the possibilities in gastronomy, okay? We all understand the concept of wine and food, and that's been working in harmony for centuries, many books, many people discussing this, but now the trend of water and gastronomy, could you please give the audience a bit of a taste?
Taste, sure.
Yeah, of what to expect and what the future lies in regards to this.
Yes, water tasting, right? It takes 2 hours on the water sommelier education program, but it's okay, 2 hours? No? Joking, sorry. Okay, I will let you know water tasting briefly. We pouring water first. Water sommelier derived from sommelier, so water tasting information is from wine tasting, and it's similar with wine tasting. And so we pour the middle of glass. So when the widest the glass until we pouring, and when we taste it is there are 3 steps of water degustation. The first is visual. So we can you put my when it for visually we can check the clearness of the water. So if you can see the handprint through the water, so we can say it is clear, but you can't see your handprint. You can say it's unclear of water. And if you drink the carbonated water, we have to check the amount of sparkling and the activities of sparkling and the size of bubbles. It is the characteristic of sparkling water. So we can check by water by visual. And second step is smell. General water doesn't have any smells, but some water has some smells. Generally, smells is not good for water. Or just do you know when we run the forest and hiking, we can smell the oxygen and fresh air. Yeah, it is the only one of great good smell of water. And except this fresh air smells, all of the smells is negative, like paper, oil, and paint. Their smells is influenced by storage. When the water, the move on the rainy days, or storage with the dirty something, all the things can affect to the water's smell. So we have to check the smells. It smells negative. And third one is pellets. All the water has taste. So we can check the sourness and sweetness and the bitterness and saltiness also. And water has a body. So we can check it is heavy or light. and it has a structure, so we can check the water has dense or not. And so we can, after we checked all the things, sweetness, sourness, lightness, softness, after that we can say it is good balanced water, because balance is the taste and some the structures and body. We can check all the things, and after that, after balance, and we can check the persistence of the water, consistency. So this water, how long the use, how long continues their water characteristic. So generally water, it is under 30 seconds, but great water has more than 10 seconds. So we have to check the persistence of water characteristics. So it is, there are the water degustation, and after that we have to pairing with food. So that characteristic, and we think about the harmony with food. So it, the water food marriage have existed. So maybe tomorrow dinner, so we have some the water color dinner. So let's try to the water and food pairing.
Definitely. I think it's fantastic insight into your profession. A very experienced water sommelier in career with the media and everything else, and allowing individuals to understand water. And I think from the conversations that we've had earlier from panel 1, panel 2, in regards to the mineral compositions of waters, here it's taking those minerals, the taste of the minerals, and combining those with foods for a sensory taste element. So we're looking at these minerals in a different way, high minerals, low minerals, and the influence that it has on foods and wines to make them more enjoyable and have a new perspective of taste, and maybe a healthier perspective as well, because you're combining waters, natural waters, with food. So that was a beautiful insight there. Next, Boštjan, how would you describe your water sommelier and the association on the tourism level with your health and well-being elements for this? What are the feedback that you receive from your clients and guests that visit you?
Well, at first, majority of them, they think it's like a joke when you're like a water sommelier, because it's rather new, like he said before. But then later on, when we talk and so on, they found it like very interesting thing. They are aware that the water is that's very important, especially nowadays for our lives and health. And after that, they found it very interesting, you know. And I think that it has like perspective, this kind of field, also in Slovenia and also in Europe. And I think that this will be very good for future to make more sommelier and to aware people about the water, to give them information.
I think exactly what you said there. When your guests or your audience arrive, they may be skeptical or maybe not really appreciating the power, the value of water for their ailments or their health and well-being, and that laughter may be the first thing that they do. Yeah. But I take, once they've experienced it by a professional like yourselves, with the understanding of water and presenting the sommelier side of water outside the scientific element, you know, you've got the scientific backing, but then presenting it in that way, I believe it's more digestible for the individuals to understand and to appreciate. So those initial laughters are smiles of joy that they've connected with water
at the end, of course. Yes, at the end, of course.
Yeah. As a beautiful insight there. And question over to you, Doran. You know, with water changing your life, you know, finding Crag Spring, finding such a beautiful natural water underneath your pub, How is that, you know, you becoming a water sommelier, how has that impacted the community around you, the guests that come to the pub, and also the media work that you do to promote, you know, their drinking water lifestyle?
Okay, so it's so interesting because there isn't, the beauty of being a sommelier for me is that it's almost like having a magic trick up your sleeve that isn't magic, but people think it is magic. And it's just such a gift, you know, it's just such a great way to entertain people. Because they're not expecting anything. They have zero expectation. So I reckon out of the tastings that I've done, it basically changes everybody's perspective and everybody's life. And I think in the UK, especially, we have a problem because we drink tap water in the United Kingdom. I think that people just think water's water. It's just like gas, it's electricity, it's a utility, it comes out of the tap. And I think people think it's their God-given right to have drinking water with zero appreciation. And whereas you compare that to continental Europe, where they don't necessarily drink tap water, people are brought up from a young age with an appreciation of different waters, where they come from, the minerality, the health benefits, etc. But in the United Kingdom, it really is a case of water's water, mate. And that's all people really know. And that's all I knew. So I'm not being judgmental on anybody, because that's how I approached it. And I think that's why it's changed my life, because this is so fascinating. It's, you know, and the more I'm learning about it, the more passionate I'm becoming about it. And then to be able to share that passion with people, and then it has an impact on their life, is staggering. I find it's so powerful. And we all need to be drinking minimum 2 liters of water a day. That's the World Health Organization minimum daily intake of water. I've been experimenting with 4 liters a day for the last 4 months. I've done loads of videos on TikTok about this, and the health benefits that I've experienced have changed my life. I will be drinking 4 liters for the rest of my life every day, because this is what we're made of. This is what my body needs. My body doesn't need caffeine, it doesn't need dairy, it doesn't need fat, and it doesn't need sugar. It needs one thing. It needs water. It's really simple. And when you explain and you talk to this for people, it's almost logical, especially children. I've noticed, I've got 6 children, by the way, and my children love water. And it's almost like a natural thing. It's like they already know that they should be drinking water. But I was brought up in the 70s, and my mum and dad used to give me Coca-Cola. And, you know, that's something that I would never dream of doing to my children now, because I believe that it damages our taste buds. It damages our base level of sensory mouthfeel. And we've got to move away from that 34 grams of sugar in a bottle of Coke business, because it's just craziness, when water is the natural thing. And the nice thing, I do tastings for families as well during school holidays. And to have a family lined up and doing a water tasting with the children involved and part of the conversation, and children's reactions to water is far more powerful than adult reactions to water, because their taste buds are so sensitive. So they pick up on all these flavors that sometimes I don't pick up on, but my children talk to me about things that they're feeling and tasting because of the sensitivity. And we need to stop giving them Coca-Cola and fizzy drinks, because they don't even want it. And I think that's something from the 70s that I grew up with, being given drinks. All I wanted was a glass of water. What are you giving me this rubbish for? But that was normal then. But I think now times are changing. People are becoming aware. So I've been blessed with this magic trick where I can go out now and just demonstrate very easily, as we all can as sommeliers, the difference in minerality, the taste, the mouthfeel of water, and then pairing it with food. And it's a whole world that is blown me away, and I love it. I'm absolutely honored, flattered, and humbled. And thank you for inviting me as well, by the way.
Thank you for that, Doran. As long as you're not pulling out rabbits from your natural spring as a magician.
No, just water, just water, mate.
Water. So we have a question from the audience, please.
Yes, hello, Doran. I have a question for Doran. Hello.
Hello, mate.
I love this water bar, and even more this inspiring story behind it. But I have a very practical question based on it. In your bar, do you serve exclusively different types of water, or do you, as our sommelier from Korea said, combine it? Let's say the most banal case, like lemonade. you know, same lemon, different waters, and or
Okay.
just exclusively water and mineral water and.
No, we're a pub. We're a 300-year-old English pub, so we get people here who aren't coming for the water, who are visiting the national park. They're out hiking and trekking, so they come in expecting beers. We have a very, very limited small selection of beers. They're only bottles, but there are another 15 pubs in a 1 kilometer radius of here where people can get plenty of beer. But if people want to find out somewhere where they can, you know, get specialist knowledge and understanding of water, there is nobody else in the UK doing it. So no, we do sell other things, not just water, but water is the attraction, really, and that's my passion. I find it very difficult when people walk in. I'm teetotal, I've never drunk alcohol. So when people come in and ask me what beer I recommend, I just want to go and run away somewhere. But when somebody comes in and they want to talk about water, I roll out the red carpet and it's 5-star treatment, because that's my passion. So I have zero passion for beer or wine or alcohol, but water is my love.
Yep. Thank you for that, Doran.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I think that was very interesting. Yes, you are a 300-year-old pub, but the beauty of the Bled Water Festival is we actually have a beer and water sommelier in the audience, Mike Steckenberger from Germany. So it's all about collaboration. And I strongly recommend that you make contact with Mike to be informative on how to pair waters and beer for your customers and your audience at the pub. So I think there's definitely a collaboration idea there for you. And the insight that Mike could provide will wow your customers, and they get the best of both worlds. Have a good cold beer, have some nice water, and stay in the moment for their long hike in the Peak District.
No, I'm not with you there, Milin, I've got to be honest. But anyway. I'm not having that. If they want beer, they can go anywhere. Anywhere sells beer. But if we're looking for something different.
Okay, so Boštjan, in regards to the tourism element as well, the feedback that you receive, do you feel that what they've learned at your health spa, that they take this away and continue to practice the health elements as a sommelier, the health and well-being elements that you've promoted? Do you get return guests coming back to Slovenia because of these special descriptions of water and the connection of water?
Well, actually, I'm officially sommelier for 2 years now. Because of the COVID situation, we only like 95% of guests was home guests. But yes, a lot of people also, they're coming back, and especially they like water, and they're asking where they can get our water abroad. Yes, and they also use maybe some hints I give them, maybe some advices, and they use it, of course. Yeah. Also about feedback is very good, and they bring more new people, they advise to come. So yeah, so I think there is something in
it gives them a different experience.
Yes, of course.
So I think that's a beautiful thing. And what we're learning in regards to the sommelier role, it's not just for the fine dining elements, etc. A personal note is we, in the UK with Fine Liquids as water sommeliers, we've done a number of water sommelier and water tasting events with charities like WaterAid in the UK, and for their dry January, where we just drink water for the whole of January, no sodas, no teas, no coffees. And we have over 400 to 500 participants for this charitable event. And for 2 years in a row now, as water sommelier, we have been providing water tasting events online, and hopefully next year it will be in person. And the take home from this is we've had 5-year-olds or children in families stating to their parents, hey, we're not interested in the Coca-Cola or the Pepsi-Cola or the Fanta. We're so interested in the water, because the narrative, the storytelling of a water sommelier in regards to where the source of the water is. Like, for example, we have Donat MG. It's got an 8,000-year-old vintage, and the way it's been traveling through the geology of the source captivates the children. They're intrigued. It's a geology lesson. It's a geography lesson, and the feedback that we have as being sommeliers, for the children to say, hey, I don't want to drink fizzy drinks or sugary juices. I want to learn more about the water. I want to drink the water. And the vocabulary that they use to describe the taste of water is something truly special. Aristotle said water is only a carrier, but I think this panel here, if Aristotle was to walk through those doors, I think we could have a beautiful debate to say, hey, back then, your thoughts of this is completely wrong now. But then also we've been able to captivate the children. But then as part of these water tastings that we do, we have 80-year-olds on these water tastings, and they will stop the conversation and just expressively say, I am 80 years old. I have been drinking water for 80 years, but I have never experienced water in this way. And it completely changes their drinking water lifestyle. And as Mike mentioned earlier about the question of, do we drink straight out of the bottle or do we put it in a glass? If we bring a bit more attention to what we're drinking, it creates more fun, it creates more interaction. And I believe the roles of these amazing water sommeliers that we have here on the panel have done their job. So it's definitely what we're doing here at Bled Water Festival is combining the science, the technology, and the storytelling of water to make it more accessible for all. And Hanno, if you'd like to contribute to the experiences.
Yes, I want to tell you something about my experience. My first water sommelier teaching experience is on Barista Academy. They studied about coffee, and the 98% of coffee is water, you know. So I did a special education program on barista, and I suggest 10 kinds of water on the tasting session, and all over the people picked my best water is that is 10 people. 20 people picked up one is my best water. That is the archive is from the Blue Mountain in Australia. The pH 8.21 is alkaline water. But after we did coughing with those water, so do you know what is the worst coffee of them? Alkaline was the worst, the coffee of the 10 kinds, because the alkaline waters combine with the acidity and make neutral. So well, yes, coffee is the characteristic, one of characteristics is acidity, but alkaline makes acidity to lower. So many the barista students don't want that water. So it's very interesting because they 10 minutes before, this is the best water in my life. But 10 minutes later, they don't want this water. It's very interesting because the waters has the individual characteristics because of mineral. So depending on mineral, the water gives us some the sourness, sweetness, bitterness. It is dependent on the mineral, the harmony. Yeah.
Boštjan, would you like to add to this in regards to the taste of water?
Well, yes. We also make at home. I make researches like with my child. I also have like 20 different waters from all over the world. Then we just put it, and I did not tell them anything. And it's interesting to hear what the children say about different kind of waters. You know, someone is very sweet, someone is sour, someone is bitter, and so on. It's really interesting.
And I think it's an absolutely valid point. For generations, we have never been taught to describe the taste of water. We have a vocabulary for whiskey, we have a vocabulary for wine. However, there's never been a vocabulary to describe the taste of water. And I think as we progress as sommeliers, as individuals, expressing yourself with this vocabulary and teaching these elements at a young age at school, it provides more appreciation to water because we're able to communicate and use descriptive words of the feeling, the taste sensation that we achieve from all of these different waters. And I'm sure you will agree, the taste of Donat MG will be very different from Milvella. So later on, we're going to be having a little exercise for you all to participate, and there is no right or wrong in this. It's your personal connection, your personal taste to the waters that will be fascinating to describe. Secondly, is there any questions from the audience in regards? Thank you.
Yes, very, very important. Yes. Yes. The all mineral waters from mountain, when we hike the mountain, and if you drink water on the mountain, oh, it's very sweet. Did you have that experience? Yes. The average of the spring water is the 12. So 12 is the most delicious temperature of water on still water. And if it is different by the culture, the Korean really like the cold beer and cold coffee, iced coffee, but in the sparkling water also, Korean likes the really cold, cool ice sparkling water. But the best sparkling water temperature is depend on the sparkling amounts. So from 13 to 17 is the best temperature for sparkling water. Let's try after the session.
I totally agree with you, Hanno. The temperature plays a massive influence. So we all like to drink cold drinks. It's very refreshing, but it numbs our taste palate on our tongue and our mouth. You know, it's very cold, it's very refreshing. However, a good way to explore the taste of water is maybe have, say, a Donat cold, pour it into the glass, taste it, enjoy it in its cold form, but then allow that water in your glass to go to room temperature after maybe 15 minutes. Go back to it and then taste. And that's when the magic happens. That's when the taste of Mother Nature, the minerals really will pop on your palate. And then you'll start to discover, does bicarbonate taste like this? Does magnesium taste like this? Does natural sodium have a certain taste? Does potassium? And then each water, like say Milvella, will have a different taste. And the combination of all of these minerals gives it its unique taste. And then you start to describe it. Is it salty? Is it zesty? Is it maybe peppery? Is it soft? You know, it's down to you, your imagination in regards to how you want to describe the sensation and the feeling from the water. And just before we wrap up, Doran, what is the experience or the conversation or the vocabulary created at the water bar with these water tastings you offer?
Sorry, what do you mean? What's the question? I don't understand.
The question was, we were talking about the influence of temperature on water.
Yeah. Okay. No, temperature absolutely critical, no doubt about it. So if you're putting this is one of the crazy things. We're conditioned to put water in the fridge, which is just insanity. The fridge is at 6 degrees Celsius. Your mouth is at 37 degrees Celsius. So there's a 31 degrees Celsius shock to your system. So any taste or flavor or sensation is gone. And that's clear. As soon as you do a tasting with people, they get it. But what drives me mad is you go to a restaurant and they serve you a cold bottle of blimmin' water. And it's like, I don't want it cold. Have you got any room temperature water so that I can taste it? But everyone, the whole industry is conditioned. Chlorinated ice cubes, a slice of lemon and a cold bottle of water. Useless. So I think that we've got so much work to do with sommeliers about raising awareness, and it all makes sense. And when you do a tasting, it makes sense. And I think, you know, in 20 years' time, hopefully people won't be serving water in a restaurant with flipping mango in it or lemon. And it's just crazy stuff to make. It's almost as if we don't give water the appreciation that it has a flavor in its own right, and we have to do something with it. We have to dress it up. It's lunacy, but I do think it's an awareness thing. And as people are becoming aware, I think that's less likely to happen. I tell all of my customers at Crag Water, all of my water tastings, not to put the water in the fridge. And people come back to me with feedback and go, yeah, no, it's a completely different drink when it's not cold. And I go, yeah, it has a taste. It has a flavor at room temperature. So yeah, absolutely. Agree totally.
Thank you, Doran. Would you like to say a few elements in regards to this? Okay. We're on time. We're on time. I believe we will be breaking for lunch. However, is there any more questions from the audience? Anybody? Okay. Just finally, I just wanted to say a huge big thank you. This panel, panel 3, the water sommelier presentation of the professional water cocktails and possibilities in gastronomy, was organized in partnership with the Kamnik-Savinja Alps Waterway Network. So big thank you. This project is also co-financed by the European Union from the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development and the CLLD approach, implementation of community-led local development in 2014 to 2020 program period. So a big thank you for the contribution to this panel. So if we don't have any questions, it's lunchtime.
Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you, Doran.